Hey ladies, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about diabetes, life, and all of the little squishy bits in between. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about my diabulimia eating disorder recovery and how I've been dealing with gaining all of my weight back. If you're interested in hearing my personal story on diabulimia, then I would click right here because I did a whole video on it. So I'd go watch that first if you haven't seen it. So eating disorders are such a taboo topic regularly, and when it comes to diabulimia, not a lot of people know about it because there's not a lot of information out there. Even my endocrinologist didn't know what it was, so I had to educate her on that. When I went to her and started talking to her about diabulimia, she was like, I don't know what this is. So I kind of had to teach myself all the things that I know about diabulimia because it's so rare. Like, it's such a small percentage of the population because it only affects type 1 diabetics, and majority of the time it only affects diabetic women who are in their teens to early 30s. So it's such a small little group, but it is such a deadly disease, and I think it's really important that we talk about it. At the peak of my diabulimia, I had lost about 50 to 60 pounds. I was still convinced that I was fat after losing almost 60 pounds. I would constantly check my weight every morning. It was like a little ritual that I would do. I would go and stand on the scale and I would see how much weight I had lost from the night before. I was just completely obsessed with my weight, my body, and how much weight I could lose. And it was a really deadly situation because my A1C was 16.8. And the thing was, I thought that I could just stop all of this behavior once I reached my desired goal weight, which, if you watched my last video, you'll know it just kept going down. My goal weight went from 150 all the way down to like 110 pounds. So after I told my parents about my diabulimia and I started to get help, I obviously started to gain weight back because I was no longer taxing my body so much, and I was taking my insulin, drinking water, eating properly, taking care of myself. When I realized that I had gained about 30 pounds back, that's when I went back down that dark path. I relapsed and I started having really bad thoughts about my body, about my health, and everything like that, but I knew that I needed to take my insulin. I stopped wearing makeup, I stopped doing my hair, I really stopped doing anything in my life other than school. There's this like weird thing that I like to do, and it's called the logical brain versus my emotional brain. If you guys relate to like logical, emotional brain, then totally let me know in the comments down below. But that's basically what I was doing. In my logical brain, I knew I had to take my insulin, I knew I had to do all of these things, but my emotional brain just kind of hijacked my life. And that's when I knew I needed help. And I went to therapy. I went to solo therapy with a therapist who specialized in eating disorders, and I decided to put myself into a group which is just about eating disorders. And there was a lot of really lovely girls there who had never heard of diabulimia before, and neither had my therapist, but it was really nice to be in a situation with other women who understood kind of what I was going through, and it really helped me out a lot. So if you are able to, I would seek out therapy for diabulimia because it really helped me so much. In therapy, that's where I learned about binge eating disorder and that I had it, because I didn't realize that I was doing these kind of self-destructive behaviors where I wouldn't eat food all day and I would just go to school and I'd come home and I'd be really stressed out about the day or feeling all of my emotions finally at nighttime, and I would just eat everything in sight all the time. And then the next day I would kind of punish myself, if you will, and not eat until I got home from school, because I was like, okay, well, I like ate 4,000 calories yesterday, so I can't eat anything in the morning, and I'll just keep going. And it was just this really horrible cycle that lasted for about 3 months. In group therapy, that's where I learned about where eating disorders kind of begin, how they start in a person's life, and how it started in my life. And I realized there that I was just a really angry person, because through my entire life I had always been told that I was fat by friends or by boys at school. I was bullied a lot for my weight, and it was something that I never really tried to unpack before until I went to group and until I went to solo therapy. And when I did that, I realized that I was a really angry person. I had so much anger inside of me, and I would just pretend that it didn't exist because I was the yes man. I was the person that said yes to other people, didn't like confrontation, I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings, so I pushed all of my emotions to the side, and finally at group therapy I was able to let them out and talk about things that made me angry. I decided that I wanted to start my life completely over again. I wanted to learn all about me, take care of me. I don't want to take shit from no one anymore, and I wanted to finally stand up for myself and talk for myself and think for myself and not have other people really influence everything that I was doing in my life. It allowed me to not have so much stress and like emotional turmoil within myself. Instead of eating my feelings, I was actually feeling my feelings. And that was something that really helped me with my binge eating and my diabulimia. At the beginning of January, I decided, with the guidance of my therapist, that I was going to go all in, which is a term that means that basically you're going to not restrict any of your eating. So I decided I was going to try that for a month and see how that worked for me. Stephanie Buttermore, she's a YouTuber here, she does a great video on going all in, and so I'll link it down below if you want to check out her channel because she does a great job talking about it. Doing all of this self-discovery and going all in and everything was in hopes that I would have a better relationship with food so that I could have a better relationship with my body. So I decided to not restrict. And for the first 2 to 3 weeks, it was so hard to not get back into the cycle of binge eating. Yes, it was really hard, but it was the best thing that I've ever done for myself because I would say I have a way better relationship with food now and my body. So while I was going all in, I probably ate 3,000 plus calories a day and I was happy. I didn't fit into any of my clothes, but I was weirdly happy. I was okay with it. I was having such a better relationship with my friends from school, with my family. I felt like I could talk to people a lot more. I was having the most sex with my boyfriend finally, and it was great. I was fucking thriving. I was so happy, and I was able to tell people when they were making me angry and when I was happy and be able to be like, no, I don't want to do that, or yes, I want to do that. I got up on a light up cube at a club, which I never thought that I would do, and I danced and I had fun and I was discovering all of these new things about me, and it was the greatest time of my life, and I was the biggest that I had ever been in my life, and it was like a really strange experience. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I never had bad days while I was going through all of this, because of course I did. And eating disorders, that's why there's relapse, because it never goes away. It's like smoking, it's an addiction, it's never gonna go away, but you learn how to control things or how to cope with things. When I was having those really sad and angry days, that's when I started my fitness journey. Towards the end of February, I found a love for walking and weightlifting. Weightlifting was the perfect outlet for me because I was so angry, like I've said so much through this video, but it helped me kind of push that anger out of my body because I was throwing weights around and, you know, letting out all of this frustration. And then walking was like my own private therapy session where I could think to myself, put music on, and it was a great bonding time that I had with my dog Butters. So those two things really helped me, and of course since the end of February to now I've lost some of the weight back, but I've done it in a way that's not about my appearance, it's not about my weight, it's about my life and just living a healthy lifestyle, and I'm really happy with that. And I look forward to weightlifting. I look forward to going on my 6 to 10 kilometer walks almost every day with my mom and my dad and all of our dogs. It's fun and I love it, and it's helped me understand my body better and have a better relationship with my body. And I'm the healthiest and fittest that I've ever been, And the thing is that I weigh more than I did when I started my diabulimic journey. And it's insane. In my experience, the healthier my relationship with food, the healthier I've been, the happier I've been, and the better my A1C has been. So a mantra that I say to myself to help me with like the fact that I've gained so much weight, or if I'm having a really bad day, is that my body is an instrument. It's not an ornament. It's uniquely mine. And look at all the beautiful and amazing things that it can do versus the things that, oh, look, it can't fit into a size 0 jeans. Like, it shouldn't hinder me in my life. It shouldn't be something that I constantly think about. And so when I say that to myself, it really helps me because I can walk 10 kilometers. I can lift so much weight now. I can do so many things. I can hike. I can bike, I can do art, I can do all of these things, and it's not about my weight. It's about me as a person. So I can't sit here and tell you exactly how to get to that point because, like I said, it's a journey, but it's your journey, and it's a journey that you have to go on to, and it's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be really hard, and when you look back at it, you're gonna be like, that person is so strong. You are so strong for doing that and getting help and being able to look at your body as an instrument, not an ornament. I've made this video today to help educate people on diabulimia and to help educate people that your worth is not determined by your weight. So like I said before, I want to make diabulimia a big series on my channel because it's really important for our diabetic community to be educated on it. And I want to help people who are struggling, who don't have the resources around them. I want to help the family members because I feel so bad that my parents and my sisters and my boyfriend didn't have resources on how to handle it when I was going through diabulimia or binge eating and things like that. So I want to kind of make this like a little education center on diabulimia. Of course, I'm always here if you need to ask me questions. You can ask them down in the comments because a lot of people might be able to jump in and start talking about their own experiences, and I really want this to be a place where we can support one another. But of course, if you want to get a hold of me, my Instagram handle is @painting.pancreas. I would love it if you follow me on there because that's the social media that I use the most. If you like this video, then you should subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. Also, I would love it if you guys share this video because like I've said previously, it's such an important and deadly topic that we need to talk about. We need to not be afraid to talk about this. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I like shot a nigga.